Hi, Ace from Public Announcement, and also um, the other Public Announcement members. I want you to know I love Public Announcement. Okay, I've always loved Public Announcement, and I love MGM. Um, this is my real talk, being completely honest. I like to be honest anyway. Um, yeah, yeah. Um, at the end of this video, you guys will see a snippet of the Google interview Mark, Shawn, and Vince from MGM and other artists were on. Um, what I want to show, I'll show you your albums as well. This Born into the 90's album, Public Announcement on the cover, up until December 2012, I thought it was Public Announcement. Um, um, I spoke to Mark in December 2012 on Facebook message. I typed in, Mark, I wish Drive hadn't have replaced you with Public Announcement. Then you would have done an album, and Why You Want to Play Me would have been on that album. Blah blah blah. He replied, "We did do an album. That Born into the 90's album is us. That's not public announcement." Yes, so I was in shock. I can show you screenshots at a later date. I did screenshot for photos, Ace. Um, and I was in shock in December 2012, but I didn't take Mark at his uh, word. I wanted to see for myself, so I had all Why You Want to Play Me single on the computer files, and I had all the Born in the 90's songs except Hey Love, Can I Have a Word? I didn't like that, so I didn't put it on. I won't put that song on the computer, on WAV files. And I compared all the songs, and yes, Mark is right. That is MGM singing, and I can hear on the Rap for Born into the 90's track, um, actually Mark does a rap, a small rap part. R. Kelly does the most of the rap. On I Know What You Need, I can clearly hear Vince rapping. I worked that out was Vince, and Mark says that everyone did a tiny bit of rap. Mark, Shawn, and Vince. Um, now, now we come to R. Kelly's first solo album. Yes, on that album, on a few songs, I like the Cratch on You, I think, Summer Bunnies, uh, Sex Me, Part 1 and Part 2, Public Announcement, the original Public Announcement group featured on that, and on the intermission part of I Like the Crutch and You, Public Announcement really singing. I can hear their voices, awesome voices. I can hear a complete different to what I hear from the other songs. On the intermission part, I can really hear, and it's different from um, the Born in the 90's album as well. Um, Now I'm going back to 1998. The reason I bought this Public Announcement album because of the Born in the 90's album, because I thought Public Announcement was on the who did the album, not just on the cover. But and I couldn't understand. No disrespect to anyone at the time, I couldn't understand why they sound completely different. I couldn't work it out, but now I can. And also, uh, I later on found out that the members, public announcement members, from 1998 were different to the original PA members. And it changed slightly. Yep, the second public announcement album. I love public announcement. Okay, I'm speaking the truth here. And then the third album. So what I consider, because public announcement are just on the cover, I've put all that music into the MGM folder on my computer. The R. Kelly solos are in the MGM folder, but inside the MGM folder, I've got one MGM, and then each person from MGM, their solo folders. So all the R. Kelly albums from 12 Play are in his solo album folders, and each folder, I've got a folder then for each album. All the WAV files, I like to be organised. Now, what I done with public announcement, I've got a public announcement folder in the music files, and then a folder for each album, right? And the year of each album when it was released. So to my record, public announcement has done 3 albums. The first one being the 98 one, because I don't count the 1991-92 album, Born in the 90's, when public announcement voices weren't on the album. Only their photo taken. I don't count that. Their third album, I think, and their second album, yeah, I've got it all in folders. I love R. Kelly as an artist, and I love MGM. I'm still trying to get them back. Vince has left MGM, as I already told you, Ace. Now, I in the thing, she reads a statement and she says that someone asks, and she misreads it wrong. I was stating fact, public announcement on the cover, and MGM on the music, singing the music. Anyway, here's what she said.
All right. Yeah. Somebody in the chat room said, I love MGM, and I'm so happy that in December 2012 to finally find out the truth about Born Into the 90's album. That is not PA on the cover. That's MGM. Speaking of that, I actually have some audio of you guys at the Regal Theater doing Dedicated. And Dedicated is actually on the public announcement album. I wanted to ask about that. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's not PA. And interestingly enough, I was going to.
It's MGM.
Right. I mean, I wanted to ask about that. Thank you for bringing that up in the chat room, because I've always thought that a little odd, and I've been meaning to ask you guys that, but why not now, since other people want to know it too? I was like, that's MGM, that's not PA. I've always wondered that. So how did that come to pass? Y'all know?
Long and the short, record company didn't want Robert as a solo artist. They wanted a group. Rob got 3 people to take our place, called Public Announcement. And if you notice, if you look at she's got that vibe video, they put Public Announcement in shadows, so they would think that it was still MGM. But we did that album in New York. We put in the hard work for it, Shawn and Vince, and Public Announcement just got a lottery ticket. That's just what it is.
Did you guys get any compensation for that?
Not really. Not really. Jive strung us along and, you know, did what they had to do to keep us under contract until they could let us go, because they didn't want us to be released at the same time as Rob, because we had offers from Quincy Jones and Lowell Silas and a host of other people, but they didn't want us in competition with Robert.
So do you think it's a pattern? Because that's almost the same story, minus the replacements. That Earl and Felony and all of them said, you know, happened with them, with PA.
It's a pattern. I mean, you know, Rob had to prove himself as a solo artist to Jive. I mean, Public Announcement wasn't even under that contract. We were. You know, we were with Tab Dash Records, Tab contract from Jive, and we got transferred to Jive. And Rob didn't, I mean, they didn't want Robert as a solo artist, so he had to get 3 other people. So he went and got Earl and the rest of them guys. You know, no disrespect to Earl and them, you know, they got a check, it's cool, you know, but we put in the work.
Right.
We put in the blood, sweat, and tears. Mark, Don, and Vince, all day, every day.
Well, at least the truth is out now, you know.
It's just interesting. I mean, I knew it was something fugazi that happened. I just didn't know all the details. In terms of that, do you have anything that you would say about? And I want everybody to answer this question, Rob, you included.
Yeah,
any moment in time or what you say?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
Anything about your career, anything about this journey that you would change if you had the opportunity? It doesn't necessarily have to be a regret, but it could be something that you can look back on and say, you know what, had I done X, Y, and Z, I think that would be it. And I'll start Vince, Shawn, Mark, Cooley, Frank, Rob.
Say the question one more time.
The question is there anything that you would change and why?
Yeah, I would have changed how we.
You can't see your face.
Huh?
There you go. Now we can see you. You would have changed what?
You mean if you asking me if I would have changed anything about how things went with the group?
Just about your career in general.
Yeah, I would have changed my work ethic a lot. I would have been a lot more focused than I was, even though I was extremely focused. But I wouldn't have given certain people so much power.
Okay. Shawn.
For me, yeah, we worked very, very, very hard. But if I can change anything, it would be from the writing aspect of it all, writing and producing. I would have been more into writing and producing, because I, to be honest with you, back then I hated the studio. I just hated it. I just loved performing, and I loved rehearsing, but I just didn't like being in the studio all day long. Sometimes we'd go in the studio and be in there for 2 or 3 days, you know, and I hated that part of it. But if I could turn the hands of time, I would embrace that.
Okay.
I would have embraced it more.
Okay. Mark.
If I could change something, it would be I would have listened to Uncle Al. And if anybody knows us, they know Uncle Al traveled with us. He was our manager's uncle. All of us called him Uncle Al. And Uncle Al told me, he told all of us, you know, he was like, when we was going through all the turmoil of the group, he told all of us, you know, hey, look here, Daddy, just stick it out and have a last laugh. You know what I mean? Had a last laugh with Robert, R. Kelly. Just stick it out and get your fame and then had a last laugh. Let you know, get what you deserve, what you worked hard for, and then had a last laugh. But I didn't listen to him, and it's not a regret. It's just a smart decision that I should have listened to, that I didn't. Okay. And if I could go back, I would have listened to him. Okay. You know, same person that used to tell Robert to take a damn bath.
You know what? I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that with you, Mark. I'm not gonna let you do that. Cooley.
Wow.
Ace, I hope you liked the whole video. Thanks, mate. Have a nice day.